Let's talk about how to use AI in your service business without any of the BS. In this video, I'm not going to be talking about how to make an app or how to put your business on easy mode and let the computers run it for you, or how to 1,000 extra productivity by using a computer subscription. I'm not going to talk about any of that. I'm a real business operator, and I've been running service-based businesses for over 14 years now. So I'm selling my time or someone else's time or expertise and exchanging that for money. One of my portfolio companies that I started 3.5 years ago started at revenue equals $0 per month, and now it's doing over $500,000 per month. And most importantly, it's paying me over $100,000 per month in profit as the owner of the business. And I only work about 3 hours a week in that business. My team manages the rest of it. I've also been using AI in that company since the beginning. So I found out what works really well and what does not work, and what's practical and what is not practical. One interesting thing that I love about service-based businesses is a lot of it is kind of AI proof. So my portfolio company I just told you about, it's in the event decorating space. It's going to be a long time before robots start decorating events. Now, software is being laid off, bankers are being laid off, mortgage guys are being laid off. There's all these different industries that are being disrupted by AI, but it's going to be a long time until somebody gets an AI robot that's climbing up on a roof and fixing the roof, or that's fixing a car, or that once again is decorating an event, or whatever it is. It's going to be a long time until AI disrupts that, if it ever does at all. And that means there's a lot of opportunity still for you and for me and the other service-based business owners out there to create wealth through their business. So let's talk about both the do's and don'ts of AI. All right, let's start with the don'ts. The first thing is don't rely on AI for your business strategy. As of right now, AI is not capable of thinking. What it does is it goes out and it scours the internet and gets all this information, and it looks for common patterns and themes, and then it puts those patterns and themes together to answer your questions. Now, an important statistic to remember is 90% of businesses or around there end up failing in the first 10 years. And even the ones that don't fail, a lot of business owners make less money than their employees do, and they make a lot less than what they could do just working a 9-to-5 job with way more risk and stress. So if AI is out there crawling the internet, looking for what's most common and looking for these patterns, there's a pretty high likelihood it's going to stumble into the realm of 90% of businesses that fail, and it might give you advice from those businesses. I actually had a really painful example of trying to outsource strategy to AI in my portfolio company. I hired an entrepreneur that's very well known, he's a billionaire, and I paid him a ton of money to learn from him and his team. And they used AI to help come up with the strategy for my business. Now, the interesting thing about it is, once again, this is in the event decor industry, and they're like, hey, instead of being an event decor company, you should do the whole event for them and then give them ABC benefit, and it'll be amazing, and they'll pay you way more money, and you'll make like 60x the profit per project. To which myself, my team, and everyone else that heard the strategy is like, this is amazing. The problem with that, though, is AI is really good at telling you stuff you want to hear, but it's not as good at critically challenging your blind spots or your weaknesses. And so this person's team, with the help of AI, built this strategy for me. I took the strategy, I tried rolling it out to the marketplace, and once again, I want to point out, I'm a very good operator. So if I have a strategy and I have a task to go do, I will get it done every single time. And so I took this strategy and I started selling, and I tried talking to customers, and I was interviewing our current customer base and trying to convert them from the lower ticket offer to the higher ticket offer. And what I found is nobody wanted the offer. And I was confused by this. And what I didn't realize is, sure, economically that offer made sense, but there's a lot of components of business and of trust and of commerce that AI cannot understand because it's not human. And so for starters, we found out that a lot of our clients felt like their jobs would be in jeopardy if they hired us to do this. So that was just a flat no. Then we found out that the benefits that came made sense for a business owner, but for the decision maker that would oversee that type of decision, the benefits were irrelevant. They didn't matter because they weren't tied to that person's job or their outcomes. So I ended up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars testing out this strategy that AI and this team who used AI to come up with the strategy ended up recommending. And it cost me about 6 months of my life in addition to the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was incredibly painful. So when it comes to strategy, don't just trust the AI. It's okay to consult the AI and go back and forth and be like, hey, be my sounding board, which that actually brings me to the next one. So do use as a sounding board, but do not trust it implicitly. All right, now let's go over to another do. I love using AI to help me analyze data. I'm pretty good at data analysis myself, kind of a nerd over that thing. Most business owners are not, especially it's really common in the service-based industry because they're not people that necessarily have grown up like programming computers and things like that. And so for them, going through the spreadsheets and running pivot tables and these complex, assessments and charts and things like that are not something that they're great at. And they don't have to be. That's totally okay. AI tends to be very, very good with the data. And so be careful what you're uploading in there. Just realize it's not private, right? So I wouldn't go upload your entire client list, redact information, things like that. But you can find a lot of really powerful trends and a lot of really cool opportunity in your business by using AI to comb through your data. And you can ask it things like, hey, based on this data, what are we doing really well? What are we doing really poorly? What do you see as the biggest opportunity? And then when it tells you something, push back. Be like, I think you're wrong because of this. And then it will like recalibrate its answers. You can even ask it things like, based on this data, what are the 3 metrics I should be tracking in my business every week to make sure my team's doing what they're doing? Or you can say, based on this data, what are the 3 initiatives I should have this quarter for my team to be focusing on? So for an AI, don't use it to replace managers. At least for the time being, service businesses are human businesses. And your customers come to you because of the humans that work for you, because they trust that you can take care of them, you can connect with them, you can do a good job, whatever it is, you have the credibility. And a lot of people are inherently skeptical about robots. So for example, I don't know that I would feel comfortable with a robot up on my roof. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with a robot in my house, around my family, doing who knows what. Eventually, I think we'll get to the point where that's the norm. I think that will be okay in the future. But for now, that's not really a thing, and the technology is not even good enough yet. So I'd be very careful replacing your managers, because what I've found amongst other businesses that I've analyzed amongst peers is people that try to use AI to coach their team and to train their team, and maybe they're like, hey, I have this AI sales agent that can sell better than my sales manager, and I'm just going to have my team go and talk to this AI sales agent. Well, I found that those teams not only underperform, but part of what it takes to have a great team and to have a business that actually works and scales and grows without you is you need to be able to motivate people. And you need to help them see the vision of what's possible working for you and your organization. And if their managers are AIs, you're never going to be able to convey that. And they're not going to believe that. So I would not replace managers, at least for the time being. Maybe in the future that answer will change, but for now, don't look to replace managers. However, you should look to make people more efficient. So a real example, in my event decorating business, I have a team member who's never written emails before for like email marketing, but she wanted a new opportunity within the team. She wanted an opportunity to make more money. So I gave her some resources. I sat down with her for about 30 minutes. I taught her some basic principles. And I said, okay, upload these into AI, into ChatGPT, and have ChatGPT help you make these campaigns based on our past campaigns that we've done. And she has been able to single-handedly take those instructions, put it into ChatGPT, learn from ChatGPT, and roll out the first version of emails without my involvement. And she did a really good job. Another example of making your team more efficient, I have a sales manager who part of her job is to listen to my team's sales calls. So we could either have her listen to sales calls for 10 hours a week and spend all of her time doing that, which is pretty tedious and not very enjoyable, or we could upload those calls into an AI, or at least the transcripts, and ask the AI, based on the instructions we've given it, hey, who's being compliant to the script and following the process, who's not? What are some red flags you notice? What are some things that should be, shouted out or commended because they're awesome? What things are leading to closes, which are not? And help us to refine the script. That's a great use of AI, because now instead of taking a human that has to stay disciplined and remain attentive for 10 hours, now we just upload the stuff into AI and we get the results in 10 minutes. My sales manager then sanity checks those answers, right? We don't want to just like take that for gospel or anything like that. And she'll say, okay, based on what we know, does this make sense? If so, she will then go and train my team on the analysis that the AI created. All right, so one huge do that I love is using AI for tech stuff. One of the crazy things about AI is it is the first technology that can teach you how to use it. That's wild. So I'll give you an example. I run a lot of ad campaigns. I run them through Google, I run them through Meta, I run them for all my businesses. Meta is always changing their user interface, and it drives me insane. If you learn the Meta interface today, one will take you quite a while, but if you learn it today, in 3 months, things will change, and you have to constantly relearn it. Well, AI is really good at learning that stuff. And so what I'll do when I create a campaign is I will screenshot my screen. I'll be like, hey, this is what my screen looks like. What do I click on? And then I upload it into AI. And then it will send out like 25 instructions. I'm like, no. Speak to me like I'm in 3rd grade, like I'm not very smart, and only give me one step at a time. And so I'm like, okay, click on this button. Okay, done. Screenshot it. Now what do I do? And then it says, okay, click on this. Screenshot it. Now what do I do? And I've been able to do this to solve some pretty crazy technical hurdles. As a matter of fact, in my event decor company, we actually built out our own software CRM platform. And I've invested, I don't know the exact number, it's over $150,000 probably. It's very expensive. Well, what I'm actually finding is that there are things that my AI can do that my team of software developers cannot do. And it's actually blowing my mind. Nobody really thought when AI came out that the developers that built it would be the ones replaced, but so far, AI seems to do really good with coding and technical stuff. And so now, instead of going to my developers when I need help, I go to my AI platform. And some AIs, like Claude is one that can do this, you can actually run it on your computer and it will actually do the task for you. So last week, there's a process that I did not want to do. Over 2 years of building a website, I had changed fonts and things like that. And so they all had the same font style, but they had different sizes and it looked kind of sloppy. So I told the AI to go through and to make all the font sizes so they matched the suggested font size based on what I was trying to do. So it went through for hours and tediously updated every block of text across my website, which is something that I had not wanted to do because it's super boring and super terrible. And the AI did it without complaining. It was really cool. So anytime there's any sort of tech stuff, how do I connect this software to this software? Or how do I create this email campaign and send it through MailChimp or whatever it is? I love using AI for that. I don't. So this could be controversial. I say don't use AI for customer service. Now, I'll add a quick caveat to that. When I create a service-based business, I'm trying to be the high-end premium brand. There's almost never a benefit to being on the lower end. As a matter of fact, there's a saying, I can't remember who said it, but it's like, there's no advantage to being the second lowest cost, only the lowest cost. So like, if you want to build a business like Walmart and be the cheapest, there's a benefit to that. But there's always an advantage to being the most expensive one. And so whenever I create a business, I always want to be the premium option. Now, you don't have to do that, but I would definitely not recommend being in the middle, because if you're in the middle, that's where most businesses get stuck or they die. You can either be super cheap and streamline your operations, in which case, yeah, use AI for customer service, or you can go premium. But if you're a premium and your customers are talking to a chatbot or an automated phone service, that's not going to resonate really well. As a matter of fact, I'd be willing to bet good money that if you have a competitor in your industry that is using this stuff, you could charge the same price as them, have the same customer reviews, same everything, but if you have a human answer the phone or a human text back or a human do the emails, you'll make significantly more closes relative to the company that's using AI. Because people, once again, are becoming inherently distrustful of AI. I think that will only get worse over time as more disruption happens and people get more fearful of what's going to happen in the future. But there's this human element to business, this human element to trust, and AI erodes that. It's the worst thing when you need some help with, your Xfinity bill or whatever it is, and you have to talk to their stupid chatbot. You can't actually just talk to a person. Or your bank. The other day, I was trying to figure out how to wire $150,000 and through this bank I have, and it sent me to a chatbot. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, I have a lot of money with you guys. Connect me to a person. Very frustrating. All right, another AI don't, hiring. Now, if you go to Indeed right now, this is like one of my biggest complaints about business currently, is you have thousands of people looking for jobs. There are a ton of people trying to find work right now, and they're all using AI to write their applications and their resumes. And then you have job seekers who are all using AI to read the applications and resumes. And so you have this just mess of AI slop that's being generated. It's becoming really difficult, and it's becoming really difficult to see what candidates are good versus which ones are not good when it comes to hiring team members. Now, AI is just an algorithm. It's just pattern recognition and pattern matching. And so if somebody who has no qualifications to work for your business goes to ChatGPT and they say, hey, I'm working for ABC company, or I'm trying to work for ABC company and I want to apply for this job, based on what you know about me, take this job description, match my experience to it, and create a resume. And it will do that within seconds. The problem is when you read it, you're like, wow, this looks really good. I think this person's worth an interview. Or, some people just hire based on the applications or the resumes or whatever, which I would not recommend doing anymore. But the problem is that the candidate is just telling you what you want to see or what you want to hear. And it gets bad if you're using an AI as well to hire your people, because the AI is going to recognize, oh my gosh, this candidate has everything that we need. So one of the things that we've done in my portfolio companies, we've changed our entire hiring process, factoring in that almost everyone is going to use ChatGPT. And so we put the job posting up. We have our initial screening questions, which there's like 4 of them. And most people are going to use ChatGPT to answer that. We understand that. But what we did is we created a video on our careers page that it's like 9 minutes long. And there's a code word in that video, and the code word is Everest. And it's like really hard to miss. Like the video stops, there's this flashing screen that says, Everest, write this down, you'll need it for your interview. And then as part of the application questions, we ask people, what's the code word? Because AI, at least as of now, cannot go in and find that code word. And so if somebody doesn't have the code word, but they have the best answers ever, then we don't even interview them. We just delete the application, because we know that they're probably using AI to game the system because they're trying to apply to as many jobs as they can. Once we do that, the next round of interviews is we use this really cool software called Story Prompt. I'm not an affiliate or anything with it, but it allows you to make a 30-second video or whatever, asking a question, and then it will let the candidate respond. So our interview process is me asking a question, and then it gives the candidate a chance to respond. So like, why do you want to work for our team? And then they get to respond, and then after they submit that video, then it will ask them another question. I can't remember what the questions are in order, but then they get to respond and asks them another one. I then have my team watch those videos, and you see really quickly who's competent versus who's just BSing. And so once they pass the first application screening, then we send them to the videos. Neither of those things really take my team's time, because there's 1,000 people looking for a job and we only need a couple of people to fill the job. And so then my team knows what to look for when reviewing those videos, and those are the people we actually pass on to the interview process. So don't trust AI with hiring. Everyone's using AI to try to get the jobs. If you use AI to hire, you're just letting algorithms stimulate algorithms, and it's a mess. One thing you should absolutely use AI for are meeting transcripts. Now, I'm to the point that I record every meeting I'm in ever because I need to create a lot of content. Meetings make great content, but also it's nice because if I have a transcript of what's happening in the meeting, I can run it through AI for an analysis. I can use it to make human resource decisions. So not long ago, we had an employee that we had coached on this particular issue and said, hey, if you don't fix this, you can't be here anymore. And I was able to consult AI and be like, hey, can you review our conversations and let me know when we confronted them about this issue and how many occurrences since that point have we talked to them about it? And it told me the answer. I'm like, okay, I'm going to fire this person because they're not getting any better. And we have now brought this up many, many times. They've committed to change and they never do. Therefore, we need to get them out. So I wasn't necessarily using AI to manage them, but I was using it to take my meeting transcripts and to make informed decisions based on that. Or sometimes from like a branding standpoint, we do event decor. And so part of what we want to do is we want to talk about our cool projects. And so I'll tell AI, hey, read these chats, figure out the coolest projects that we should be talking about on social media or whatever it is, and make a list for me. Another example that's similar to that, here at 2X Profit, we do what's called the 2X Profit Audit. It's where we take a deep dive into a service-based business owner's business, and we're looking for ways to 2X their profit in 12 months or less by making changes to either their pricing or how they promote, their packaging, or their business model. Now, these audits can be 45 minutes to 60 minutes. And part of what we want to do in these audits is we want to find the key highlights, and we want to use those to create content. So I can talk about those things up here on the board, or maybe we can actually take the call recording and we can play that part of the call recording, but we'll ask AI, based on this transcript, what do you think would make for the best shorts that we can post on social media? So we'll then upload the transcript into AI and we'll say, hey, based on this transcript, what do you think we could use to make the best shorts for social media that we can now post online so people can see our work? The last don't I'm going to talk about is don't use it to build a brand. Right now, most of the internet is creating their content, their posts, their videos using AI. And as a result, it all is looking the same and sounding the same. But the thing that AI can't do is it can't be a human. It can't be you. It can't have life experiences. It can repeat other people's experiences, or it can make up stuff, but it can't be you and live what you have lived through. Now, people have always bought from people that they like, know, and trust. That's commerce as long as commerce has existed. But we're entering into this interesting phase where people are actually rewarding the people who come off as more authentic and more real, and they're penalizing people that come off as like they're using AI to create their entire brand identity or to create their content. And so if you look at the best performing creators, almost all of them will have things that are uniquely theirs. Now there's going to be some things like, funny memes or comedy or cat videos or whatever that might be AI. But if you're looking for actual value additive, like people that are making money using social media or using the internet to teach people about their brand or their product or their process, whatever it is, almost none of that is AI driven. Now, one last parting thought for you. In the gold rush of whatever year it was, right? People found out there was gold in California and everyone's migrating west in the United States to go and find this gold so they could get rich. Do you know who made the most money in the gold rush? Was it people got there in the beginning, people got there halfway through or later, or people that melted the gold or whatever? No, it was none of those. It was the people that sold the mining picks and the shovels. And so what you're going to find is there's a lot of just junk out there about AI, about the dangers of AI, about the pros of AI. There's just so much content, how you can use AI to get rich, how you can use AI to get poor, whatever it is. And the important thing to realize is that almost everybody that is selling you on AI or talking about AI has some sort of angle that they're trying to sell to you. And so just like the people got wealthy by selling mining picks and shovels, people were trying to sell you AI courses, AI tools, AI services, because they know that they can make money off of that right now. So there's an ad that I get targeted for right now, and I don't like the ad, it drives me crazy. I guess I could unfollow it, but they say, hey, take a picture of your face and then give us some content like of you talking, and then we will basically make you an AI and you can talk. And it's really funny. One of my mentors who is pretty against AI, he actually made a video ad that was 100% AI of him, and he made the one ad and I don't think he's ever made another one because it sounded so bad and so inauthentic. I think it completely worked against him. So just be careful if someone says, you can do this through AI. Chances are you probably can't, or maybe there's some caveats to that. And even if you can, just be careful, because for the time being, business is still a human to human endeavor. In the future, it might not be, and it's becoming less so, like things like Amazon and stuff like that, obviously. But for now, in the service sector, it's still a human to human endeavor. And I would strongly cling to that component of business. Try being more human than your competition, and I do believe that you'll be rewarded for that. So there you have it. There's my take from my practical experience running service-based businesses using AI. My most recent portfolio company that I started, besides 2X Profit, I guess, I took from $0 in revenue to this year it will do over $6 million while paying me over $1 million in profit. I only work in it for 3 hours a week, and I did a lot of that using AI's help, but I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I tried a lot of these don'ts, which is why they're on my don't list, but these do's have been things that have really helped me out. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and if So go ahead, like, subscribe, all the good stuff for more tips on how to grow your service-based business.